This is Rummy's Corner.
December 21st, the highly anticipated rematch between the two best heavyweights in the world today, Oleksandr Usyk and Tyson Fury. Will it be revenge or repeat? That's the big question going in, and it is not an easy question to answer. Their first fight back in May was a very competitive encounter. It was an extremely close fight, and at the end of the day, Usyk was awarded a 12-round split decision to make boxing history, marking Usyk as the first undisputed world heavyweight champion in the modern four-belt era. In fact, Usyk became the first undisputed heavyweight champion since Lennox Lewis last held that distinction nearly a quarter of a century earlier, back in the three-belt era. Usyk is the former undisputed world cruiserweight champion, and he will enter the ring as the undefeated, unified WBA, WBO, WBC heavyweight champion. Technically, he vacated the IBF belt after beating Fury, but make no mistake about it, Oleksandr Usyk is the one and only true lineal world heavyweight champion. Usyk has a victory against Derek Chisora. He holds 2 impressive wins over Anthony Joshua. He previously knocked out the new reigning IBF champion Daniel Dubois, and he has the big history-making win against Fury. That's quite an impressive resume for a man who only had 6 fights at heavyweight since jumping up from cruiserweight. Fury is the former lineal world heavyweight champion, who first won 3 of the Big Four belts when he ended the long and dominant reign of Vladimir Klitschko, a reign that lasted nearly a decade. Fury also ended the 5-year reign of WBC champion Deontay Wilder, where Fury had 2 wins and a draw in their epic trilogy. Fury also has 3 victories against Chisora, a stoppage win against Dillian Whyte, a somewhat controversial 10-round split decision win against Francis Ngannou, and the loss to Usyk, which to date is the only loss Fury ever suffered as a pro. But if we take a look back at their first fight as an indicator of how things might play out in the rematch, the forecast isn't all doom and gloom for Tyson Fury. Usyk is the rightful favorite going in, but Fury had enough positives in their first fight that there is reason for him to be optimistic. Fury doesn't exactly need to reinvent the wheel over here, but he will certainly have his work cut out for him if he hopes to exact his revenge in the rematch. Usyk also has reason to be optimistic, because the main thing that enabled him to win the first fight was his ability to out-hustle Fury throughout the second half of their fight. But Usyk's victory was not without difficulty. It was a challenging, hard-earned victory, and he will once again need to bring his A-game to earn a repeat victory in the rematch. Looking back at their first fight, both guys were looking to get a feel for each other in the early going, getting a sense of the timing and gauging the reactions from the other. In more modern language, it would perhaps be trendy to say that each guy was downloading information as they studiously engaged in the early portions of what would become a grueling, prolonged chess match. Fury began making a real effort to invest downstairs, perhaps testing Usyk's response more than trying to dig down with anything meaningful. Fury was mostly making Usyk come to him, trying to catch him on his way in by using his superior length. Before long, Usyk began investing more downstairs, and he was likewise beginning to discover some openings while he gathered a feel for Fury's responses. Usyk got Fury pinned in the corner, and Fury started showboating and playing to the crowd, but Usyk began pecking away at Fury, where it appeared Fury may have been trying to bait him, but if so, Usyk never took the bait. Some of the best punches by either guy came late in the round, and Usyk got the better of it during the round's final meaningful moment. All 3 official judges scored the opening round for Usyk, where Usyk landed the best punch of the round, and otherwise seemed to be doing better work more consistently. It was a clear round for Usyk where he got off to a better start, but there wasn't a whole lot separating the two after 1. Usyk marched out in round 2 and nailed Fury with a sweet 1-2. Despite the fact Usyk was having success pressing the action, Fury continued making Usyk come to him, and Usyk was more than happy to oblige, and he landed some good shots downstairs. Fury was trying to get his jab going, but he seemed to be having some difficulty coping with Usyk's awkward rhythm and elusive forward momentum. Usyk continued doing good work in close with Fury backed in the corner, and Fury attempted an uppercut, which seemed to be what he was looking for by having Usyk come to him. Fury was still trying to get a feel for Usyk, and Usyk himself was still trying to get a better beat on Fury. Fury started having a bit more success with the jab, and he was beginning to find a better groove on offense. But Usyk was still carving him up with short combinations whenever Fury was backed into a corner. Fury was beginning to have more success on offense later in the round, and Usyk remained undeterred. Two judges scored the round for Fury, and the other had it for Usyk. So two judges had the fight even after 2, and the other had Usyk up 2 after 2. It was a competitive round where Usyk was doing better work earlier in the round, and Fury was doing better work later in the round, but once again, there wasn't a whole lot separating the two. Usyk took the initiative to begin round 3, but Fury remained composed, and before long, he responded. Fury began breaking his retreat more often and somewhat abruptly stepping in, looking not only to catch Usyk off guard while coming in, but looking to load up a bit more too. When Fury resumed backing away, Usyk was able to create and discover openings, especially downstairs. Fury started flicking the jab more frequently, which gave Usyk more to think about. But by this point, both of these guys were playing a deeper game of chess beneath the surface. Usyk still held an advantage when he was pressing the action, and Fury was still trying to set him up and walk him into something big. The first major clinch took shape, and while Fury was pressing his massive weight on his smaller foe, Usyk proved strong and capable when entangled in tight. Fury was beginning to outthrow Usyk in the later portions of the round, but Usyk had a nice late flurry of his own, and things began heating up. This time 2 of the 3 scored the round for Usyk, with the other judge having it for Fury. But in terms of total score, all 3 judges had the exact same scorecard after 3, 29-28 in favor of Usyk. Usyk again took the initiative and came out firing in the 4th. But Fury responded with 2 digging shots downstairs. Fury was looking a lot more comfortable in there, and he was beginning to string his punches together very nicely. Usyk continued pressing on in methodical fashion and doing what he does. And whenever Usyk was pursuing Fury, he almost always had the advantage. Fury was landing some hard thudding shots whenever he pounced, and the two remained resolved as the pace and intensity picked up. After an accidental clash of heads, Fury ripped Usyk with a nifty uppercut. Fury was on a roll. He began playing to the crowd and showboating, and he was looking very comfortable and supremely confident in there. But Usyk remained very determined, and he continued fighting his way through the incoming fire and unloading whenever he could. As Usyk was opening up more, Fury remained calm and collected, and he appeared to have really began finding the timing and distance for that uppercut. 2 of the 3 judges scored the round for Fury, with the other having it for Usyk. By this point, a third of the way through the fight, 2 judges had it even, and the other judge had Usyk up 2. Round 5 opened with a lot of gesturing and posturing as both guys were maneuvering for position, and Fury was trying to hold center ring a bit more. Fury reverted to backing off, and he was exhibiting good movement as he was finding ways to land. Usyk continued doing good work whenever he backed Fury into a corner, but Fury spun his way out and went on the attack, bringing the action back towards center. Fury was continuing to show good timing with the uppercut, and he was otherwise doing a good job neutralizing Usyk and mixing in some sneaky offense. Fury landed a good body shot that had Usyk uncharacteristically backing up, and Fury soon landed another solid shot downstairs. One shot by Fury strayed low, but he was making a solid investment to the body, and Usyk was having difficulty getting a read with his timing. Fury continued throwing good body shots, and he had a very strong round. All 3 judges scored the round for Fury, so after 5, 2 judges had Fury up a point, and the other judge had Usyk up a point. It was a tight affair that was evenly matched, but Fury was the one who appeared to be building momentum. In round 6, Fury tried catching Usyk on the way in, and was otherwise boxing and moving and working the jab, as Usyk tried to push the issue, and he snuck in a nice left. Fury was still trying to catch Usyk on his way in, and Fury had seemed to find his proper range where he remained confident and in control. Fury landed a big right that quickly wobbled Usyk, and Usyk began looking mighty confused by what was happening. Usyk kept moving in, and Fury kept nailing him with a nice variety of body shots and uppercuts. Now Usyk was the one moving away and creating added space, but Fury was still cutting the distance and putting his punches together very well. Usyk began working in some nice body shots of his own, but Fury was still boxing effectively, exuding confidence. All 3 judges gave Fury round 6, and at the halfway point in the contest, one judge had it even, and the other 2 both had Fury up by 2 points. The momentum, however, was all Fury. Early in the 7th, Usyk had Fury in the corner and landed a couple of body shots before Fury pivoted out. Fury was building on his momentum, landing a variety of different shots, and he leaned his weight on Usyk in close quarters in an effort to wear him down, while still throwing with the free hand. Usyk started fighting his way back, and both guys were countering well as they boxed. Fury was still moving well, but Usyk kept trying to go after him, and as Usyk pushed the pace, Fury continued finding ways to land the uppercut. Fury continued boxing exceptionally well, and he was scoring with a lot of isolated shots and quick combinations whenever he found an angle to his liking. But Usyk's fighting spirit was on full display, and Usyk continued trying to do everything in his power to push the pace to something faster than Fury preferred, and he was showing renewed signs of life. It was another very strong round for Tyson Fury, and all 3 judges scored the round for Fury. So at the conclusion of round 7, all 3 judges had Fury ahead, with one judge having Fury up 1 point, and the other 2 judges both having Fury up by 3. But Usyk clearly had his best round in a while and managed to slow Fury's roll a bit. Fury came out firing away to begin round 8, and Usyk stood his ground and soon threw back with some firepower of his own. Then Usyk began really turning up the heat and going after Fury with great intensity in workmanlike fashion. Fury tried firing back, but he was unable to deter Usyk, who was consistently outworking and out-hustling him. Fury did respond with a beautiful body shot and a big right up top. But Usyk answered emphatically, pressed forward, and continued working. It was a great round for Usyk, and he managed to put a stop to Fury's momentum and was now creating his own momentum. Usyk was persistent, and Fury was having trouble keeping up. Late in the round, Usyk clobbered Fury with a booming right that left him visibly distressed. All 3 judges scored the round for Usyk, and the big round came at a time when he really needed it. After 8, 2 judges had Fury leading up 2, and the other judge had it all evened up. Round 9 would ultimately wind up becoming the most important and eventful round in the fight. Usyk was now the one exuding extreme confidence, but he remained cool, calm, and collected, and he was patient with his approach. Fury was still trying to sneak in shots whenever opportunity permitted, but he was almost exclusively backpedaling at this point. Usyk continued to apply intelligent pressure, and there was some good back and forth action. Usyk was finding the mark with some solid lefts, and Fury was still having his moments. With 30 seconds left in the round, Usyk hurt Fury with an explosive left hand that caused him to short circuit and bounce back off the ropes. Usyk pounced like a predator of the night and began carving Fury up. Try as he might, Fury couldn't quite steady himself as he stumbled around from one side of the ring to the other, with Usyk attacking in hot pursuit. As a result of the onslaught, Fury eventually crash-landed into the corner, and it was then that referee Mark Nelson ruled a knockdown. By the time he finished his count and examined Fury, the round was over. It was a sensational round for Usyk. and all 3 judges scored the round 10-8 in favor of Usyk. So after 9, 2 of the judges had it even, and the other had Usyk up 2. Fury's legs still looked a bit unsteady to begin round 10. Usyk was intelligently applying pressure, and he was landing some solid hard shots. But to his credit, Fury was absorbing the incoming fire well. Usyk wisely resumed his body attack, seemingly sensing that Fury had recovered and wasn't quite ready to go. Usyk was doing some great work, and Fury's offense slowly began showing signs of life, where his legendary recuperative powers were on full display. Fury continued hurting his cause whenever he backed himself into a corner, where Usyk always had an advantage. But whenever the two were at center ring, Usyk's output decreased, and Fury was able to rediscover a bit of rhythm. Usyk began looking a bit fatigued himself, and Fury was making a fight of it again. And more importantly, he appeared to have recovered from the devastating beatdown he received in the prior round. All 3 judges scored the round for Usyk. So after 10 rounds of action, all 3 judges had Usyk in the lead for the first time since the end of the third. 2 judges now had Usyk up 1 point, and the other had him up 3 points. Usyk tested Fury early in the 11th with a quick attack, and Fury grabbed on, initiating a clinch. Usyk was still trying to push Fury with an elevated pace whenever he could, and Fury was now trying to tie Usyk up close in tight to neutralize his offense. Fury was throwing punches whenever he could, and Usyk continued having the clear edge whenever he had Fury backed into a corner, and Fury responded by making it physical. Fury was finding openings like the type he had been finding early when he was more successful, but his punches didn't have the same snap on them. Usyk was still getting off with some nice punches, and Fury was attempting to box and move and stay out of harm's way, where Fury showed renewed bounce in his step. But Usyk was still able to close the gap and get to him, despite Fury's best efforts to keep him at arm's length. Fury continued making an effort to make things physical, and Usyk landed a sweet overhand left as the round reached an end. 2 of the judges scored the 11th for Usyk, and the other had it for Fury. At the end of 11, 1 judge had it even, 1 judge had Usyk up 2, and the other judge had Usyk up 4. Meaning, according to the official cards, Fury needed to make something big happen. The 12th and final round began with Fury looking to turn it into an inside scrap. Usyk went back to work, and he was landing some very good shots. A wide variety upstairs and down. Usyk continued being clever with getting off, but Fury responded with some nice leather of his own. The intensity level was sky high, and both of these warriors were trying to close the show in style. When Usyk pinned Fury in the corner, he grabbed on, and Usyk bumped him back, creating space where he could eventually fire away at a distance he preferred. Fury started popping his jab a bit more, and in the midst of his efforts, he even managed to drill Usyk with a nice right. By this point, Fury was making a point not to hang around when backed into a corner. Usyk still cut off the ring with expert precision, however, and he clipped Fury with a nice right hook. Fury then nailed Usyk with a beautifully timed right, one of his best punches in quite some time, but Usyk absorbed it well and maintained his composure. As the fight was winding down, both guys were still giving it their all in a captivating give-and-take affair, and time eventually expired, bringing the fight to its conclusion. All 3 judges awarded the 12th and final round to Fury. So at the end of 12 entertaining rounds of action, 1 judge had Usyk winning 115 to 112. Another judge scored it for Usyk 114 to 113, and the final judge had it 114 to 113 for Fury. So it was a 12-round split decision victory for Oleksandr Usyk, and with that win, he made boxing history. For Tyson Fury, there are several key takeaways from the first encounter. Fury had one of the most successful stretches against Usyk of any heavyweight to date, where he was able to land some great uppercuts, and he likewise landed some well-placed thudding shots to the body. Fury doesn't exactly need to reinvent the wheel over here, because a lot of what he did was working. One thing that was not working for Fury, however, was whenever he was backed up against the ropes, especially when pinned in a corner, Usyk almost always had a clear advantage. Fury was having some success catching Usyk on the way in, and his overall strategy of making Usyk come to him did help him to create opportunities where he was having some of his best moments. But whenever he was backed into the ropes and had nowhere to go, he was slow to pivot back towards center ring, and Usyk was able to wisely and effectively pick and choose his spots. Fury is going to want to use more lateral movement and pivots to move things back towards center whenever his back touches the ropes, especially when pinned in a corner. The main problem for Fury is that Usyk could match him in terms of skills and ring IQ. And in reality, Usyk has a slight edge in these departments. Usyk is also a much better conditioned athlete, and his superior stamina combined with his unwavering determination enabled him to force the pace and earn the victory. The one area where Fury has a clear advantage is size and length. At times, Fury was able to work behind a long jab to maintain the desired range, but Usyk is exceptional at cutting off the ring and applying pressure. Knowing that the last place he wants to be is against the ropes or pinned in a corner, Fury needs to be mindful of keeping things away from the ropes. And one thing that would likely serve him well is to make things more physical. Usyk himself is strong and resourceful whenever the two were intertwined in close quarters, but Fury has that weight and size advantage, and Fury is capable of being effective with the free hand whenever the two were infighting prior to the ref calling a break. Fury might also want to follow up with a more spirited attack in the event he nails Usyk with the type of uppercuts he landed last time. Although being more physical and trying to push an advantage are things that could potentially backfire and deplete his stamina more quickly. At the end of the day, the big difference in the fight was the knockdown in round 9. The punch that started it all was a beautiful left where Usyk caught Fury with his right hand way down low. Fury stumbled back into the ropes, and referee Mark Nelson could have called that a knockdown then and there, which may have done Fury a big favor if he had ruled it a knockdown there. But he didn't call it a knockdown. And after that, Usyk started carving him up, landing numerous more big lefts, using the right hand largely as a decoy setup. Fury stumbled into the corner, continued getting tagged, and Nelson got a bit too close and Usyk bumped him off. Fury goes careening all the way to the ropes on the opposite side of the ring as Usyk pursues. Usyk catches up with him. Fury evades a couple of punches before Usyk begins landing some more good shots near the corner. Fury does everything in his power to instinctually try and remain upright, and once again Fury goes staggering into a different corner, and Usyk brushes past a befuddled Nelson once again. Usyk lands 2 more powerful blows, and Fury comes back from whence he came, stumbling back into the prior corner. This time Fury crashes into that corner, and it is at this point that Nelson rules a knockdown, which was a good call, because at that point Fury was helpless on the ropes in such a way he couldn't go down, but certainly would have had he not crash landed into the corner. Nelson could have ruled a knockdown earlier, when Fury bounced back into the ropes a few times. But the situation at the end, he was truly helpless in that moment beyond any shadow of a doubt, which wasn't necessarily true prior to when he made the call. Were it not for the knockdown in round 9, all else being equal, the fight would have been ruled a draw. So again, Tyson Fury has reason to be encouraged going into the rematch. Usyk had landed a lot of similar lefts on Fury prior to the trouble that began in round 9. But with this particular punch, Usyk put a lot more behind it, at exactly the right moment when he needed it most. But can Usyk count on landing that type of game changer again in the rematch? Of course, if he did it once, he could do it again. But Usyk is too smart to bank on that, especially considering that this was the only time in the fight that he had Fury badly hurt. despite landing many great left hands prior to and after the big one that got things rolling for him that led to the knockdown. Usyk will obviously want to unload whenever he has Fury backed into a corner, because some of his very best moments in the fight happened under these exact circumstances. Usyk would also be wise to be well prepared for the possibility that Fury will look to make things far more physical this time around, to help negate his biggest disadvantage in the matchup, that being size. Usyk will likewise want to learn from previous mistakes that enabled Fury to land so many of those big uppercuts and nice body shots. But at the same time, Usyk also need be prepared for a drastic change in tactics from Fury. The biggest advantage Usyk had against Fury was his conditioning and his drive to win, and that's the reason he is rightly viewed as a slight favorite going in. Usyk's ability to turn it up a notch with relentless pressure made Fury fight at a pace faster than he preferred. Usyk just knows how to make an opponent exert more energy than he otherwise normally would, and when the moment comes that his opponent needs a breather, that's when Usyk instinctually turns up the heat and really begins breaking them down, making them work even harder. But you can never count Fury out. December 21st. Will it be more of the same and another Usyk victory? Or will it be a matter of different night, different fight where Fury prevails? Buy the pay-per-view now and find out live on DAZN. I, for one, cannot wait to watch. Thank you very much for watching, everyone, and enjoy the big fight. This is Rummy's Corner.